All right. So, yeah, first off, thank you so much for coming on here today and joining me.
Thank you, Gary. It's a pleasure and appreciate your invitation.
For sure. Well, yeah, getting this thing started and getting right into it, would you be able to give us a little bit about who you are and what your work is in this life?
Mhm. Yeah, thanks. Um, I consider myself a student practitioner of Bhakti Yoga, it has many names. Bhakti Yoga is one name, Gaudiya Vaishnav culture is another name, Sanatan Dharma, Jaiva Dharma, Paramahamsa Dharma. This is all referring to what is the original spiritual culture of Vedic India in the line of Brahma is our first guru, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. So, um, yeah, I'm an aspiring devotee. I'm a student practitioner, student teacher. We're all student teachers. We all want to share what we learn and as we go along. And because we're dealing with something infinite, there's no end to learning and to realization, to spiritual development. It goes on and on.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm an aspiring devotee and a student practitioner of the line of Bhakti and the line of the Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya.
Hmm.
And I've been doing this for my whole adult life. I embarked on this pursuit at the age of 19.
Wow,
And yeah, I
that's
moved to
impressive.
India. I moved to India and found my spiritual master. I went looking for him and found him in
Hmm.
Navadvip, West Bengal, India. And yeah, I mean, spent the rest of my life just diving into this spiritual culture and self development, um, the pursuit of God realization, divine realization, self realization,
Of truth.
practicing the teachings, yes, of the Bhagavad Gita. That's one of our main holy books, which is appreciated by everyone all over the world, whoever you are. There's
Hmm.
something in there for everyone.
Hmm.
Yes. So, yeah, early on, I just was searching for a higher purpose. And I always, as a young person growing up in this world, wanted answers to big questions. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why are we here? Why is there so much suffering?
Hmm.
Why is there so much ignorance? And no one was able to give me an answer until I met the devotees and followers of this spiritual line. I mean, there were uh, some really amazing, interesting people I came across on my journey. I met with uh, Christian monks, Buddhist monks, uh, Sufi followers, um, Jain philosophy, Judaism. I was a searcher, but searching for some inner satisfaction,
Hmm.
and found something good in all these religious systems and philosophies. Found some contribution there from every direction, but nothing satisfied my heart until coming across the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita and the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's the, um, the avatar of this age of Kali. You might have heard of Gauranga Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's the one who brought the Maha Mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to this world. That was 500 years ago. So, yeah, my heart felt some jumping for joy, going in that direction, going to India, going to meet my spiritual master, and to the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat in West Bengal, Navadvip, and putting my head there and keeping my direction focused. And after it seemed like a short um, search, but it was full-hearted, and from my soul, all my power and energy was going into finding where to put my head,
Mm,
to bow down and to surrender.
mm,
So that took place in 1992 when I finally reached the Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat to the feet of my spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj.
mm,
And he passed away from this world in 2010, but he was the successor of this lineage of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, my grandfather Guru's lineage. And it's a very ancient line that dates back from time immemorial when Lord Brahma appeared from the lotus navel of Vishnu in the causal ocean. So that was the very beginning of this line.
mm.
And there's no date for that. That's just time immemorial.
Yeah. Mm. Wonderful.
So
So, oh,
I'm
go ahead.
just a servitor in that line.
Mm,
And it's, we're dealing with the infinite, and I've tried to learn and share as I go along.
mm-hmm. Yeah, just sort of carrying the torch in that line.
Yeah, and learning about it while I go,
Mm,
because, it's it's like I mentioned, we're dealing with the infinite. We're trying to embrace the infinite. We're trying to have a loving, interactive relationship with the supreme person,
mm,
and it's uh, not something you expect overnight results. It's it's uh, it's a plane of all rights are reserved by that higher domain, and if the Lord wishes to reveal himself, then he can.
mm,
So we're just you know aspiring for these things and learning as we go along.
mm. Now, do you feel that is the point of this incarnation as a human being in the 21st century, or any century for that matter, is God realization and to devote, serve, and surrender to God?
Definitely, that's the highest option. That's
Mm,
like that would be someone who lives like that, like I'm aspiring to. That would be the uh, supreme pursuance.
mm,
Otherwise, if you're just going to live in the material world, you'll be revolving in different species of life and suffering according to your karma.
mm. Yeah. So in that way, it's like, well, why not? If there is no higher purpose than God, you might as well shoot for the stars, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, I always say we have nothing better to do. You know,
Yeah.
we're specializing in the impossible, but we have nothing better to do.
Mm, hmm. Yeah. To me, it's like, what else is there to do? Seriously. Everything else seems pointless and menial. And like you said, just causes more suffering, just gets one caught more in samsara.
Yeah.
you know?
Even just to breathe in this world, we're breathing in so many living entities. We 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 have to exploit to live here in this plane of material life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you will generate karma, even if you're really trying to be, you know, unexploitive. You can't. Just to survive here, we need to consume, and we need to uh, sustain ourselves at the
Mm.
cost of the environment and other living entities.
Yeah. That's a explanation that I never heard before I heard your stuff, is exploitation, on how we're just exploiting each other. It's just a constant cycle of people exploiting other people to survive. And I never heard it put that way, but it makes
Mm-hmm.
so much sense.
Yeah.
And there's no other way, right? To survive in the material world, you have to exploit it some manner, right?
Yeah.
And
We
that
have
just
to
causes
eat.
karma.
We have to eat. We have to breathe. We have to walk.
Yeah.
And we're stepping on so many living entities we can't see. Even if we're vegetarians, we're taking the lives of the vegetables
Yeah.
and so many unseen things. There's a solution for that. We offer everything to God,
Mm.
and then we take what is remaining, that is called prasadam. So when the bhakti yogis, the Vaishnavas, eat, they're not just taking from the environment and consuming. They're taking, preparing with love, offering it to the Lord, and then taking that, what is remaining, what the Lord has left. We are taking that, and that it's not only karma free, but it's full of blessings.
Mm. Yeah, so that is an extension of bhakti, is everything you do is almost consecrated with the energy of God. So you do it
That's
for
right.
God.
Yeah.
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 Mm. And that's the way to live sattvically so that we don't build karma, is what you're saying. So your intention pretty much is just, well, this is for God. I'm going to do this, and this is for God first. And then whatever
Mm-hmm.
the fruits that may or may not come from it don't matter, because it's all for God.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And God is kind. He's not hungry, but he wants us to benefit, and he wants to give us opportunity to love and serve him. So he's accepting these deity forms and accepting our offerings. We're
Mm.
dealing with a generous, conscious, merciful Lord that we are part of. You know, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, my grandfather Guru Maharaj, says we are parts of the infinite organic whole, and it's a loving part. We're
Mm.
part and parcel. We're connected to that infinite organic whole, and we find our happiness there. We find our fulfillment there, and we find that just as much as we love the the organic whole loves us. So we're dealing with a loving, infinite, organic whole.
And that's the miracle of God realization. When you
Yeah,
realize that this life of suffering is actually all for you, it's all for you to realize love. It's all nurtured in the love of God, quite contrary to the mundane world and the popular paradigm.
yeah, exactly.
And that's why there's no higher pursuit, because with that, it's like a shield of armor. Nothing can harm you once you realize and truly internalize and externalize that God is love. It's true. It's cliche,
It
but it's
is.
true.
Yeah. And if we are in that consciousness, then we are no longer living on the plane of exploitation.
Huh.
Here and now, we're living on a higher plane, which is the plane of dedication.
Yeah.
Srila Sridhar Maharaj explains I'll send you a copy of one of his books called Home Comfort. it's one of our only introductory type booklets because mostly he was dealing in a more intermediate level, and we have so much literature to share. But in his Home Comfort, he explains that there's basically three planes of existence: the plane of exploitation, where we are living more or less at the moment; the plane of renunciation, where one just wants to escape. It's like the dreamless sleep, the nirvana. You want to just, the plane of exploitation in the material world are full of suffering and you want out. And you just renounce everything, and you also renounce yourself. You're living in this non-differentiated plane of existence. That's where the Buddhists want to go, the impersonalists, in this dreamless sleep state for some indefinite period. It's just an escape mechanism. But that's also not desirable because you can fall down from there. There's no positive gain from it. You just merge into the effulgence of the Lord. But the devotees of the Lord want to serve and have a positive, interactive, practical, loving exchange with the infinite in a personal life of love with the Lord. And that's the plane of dedication. And that's where you find a positive engagement with divine reality. You can play football with Krishna. You can be a lover. You can be in a parental mood. You can be a friend. There's 5 kinds of relationships that you can engage with Krishna, who's at the topmost level of his personal features. That's his original feature as Krishna. And lower than him is Narayan, Vishnu, 4 arms in the majestic transcendental Vaikuntha worlds. Everything's very majestic, and you can have a few relationships with the Lord in that aspect. And you can go to the other. It's unlimited, what is called Vaikuntha. But we are devotees of Krishna. We are attracted to his playful pastimes. He has 2 arms. His plane of existence is like human-like. It appears like human life. It's set in cowherd society. He's a cowherd boy with his friends and his lovers and his parents. And all he does is play. And that is situated on the topmost plane of the plane of dedication. So that's a positive, interacting, loving reality that is being dispensed from above into this plane. So it's, you can live there while being here just through your consciousness, through developing your consciousness and surrender and having that reality descend into your heart.
And then one can be in the world and not of it.
That's right. In its most pristine conception.
Yeah, that's a powerful point on play and how Krishna is playful. Yeah, we learn to play with the mundane.
It seems mundane. I mean, in his plane of existence, it seems like it's called a prakrita. It looks like human-like and mundane, but it's not. But he also came here with his abode. His birthplace is Vrindavan, and we go there on pilgrimage. That whole plane came down with all of his associates, like a theater. The set came down, all the actors and actresses are his eternal associates. They all came down, they took their birth and they had their play.
Mm.
And
Leela.
yeah, it's called Leela.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So we're being invited into that Leela. And it's
Mm.
Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, it's reality. It's not a religion. This is not a religion. It's not just a philosophy. It's not just ontology,
Mm-hmm.
but it's the topmost level of reality
Yeah.
revealing itself.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's the big difference I find between Eastern philosophy, specifically yoga, and Western philosophy is you're bringing this into yourself. You are becoming the scripture. You are becoming the word. In
Mm-hmm.
some way, you are becoming part of the play. And Western philosophy is like it's all out there. You gotta believe in this. Blind faith, dogma. It doesn't really hit the same. So that's what's so
Mm-hmm.
special about the East and what they have granted us and that we have access to, you know,
Yeah.
in our pockets.
Yeah.
Mm, yeah, I feel it. Truly.
Yeah. I believe you feel it. Your heart expression is coming through. It's shining through and very much in the mood of a devotee.
Well, I feel the same. Just reflecting. But you are much more devoted than I am. That's for sure. I'll at least admit that. I think it's so impressive
Um,
that from 19 years old, I don't even want to get into what I was doing at 19 years old. So I think it's so impressive. At that age, you got this glimpse into it and you devoted yourself at that age. It's to me that means a lot. That means a lot. Um yeah, what was it? Did you want to get into that at all?
sure.
Yeah, like how did you even
Nothing,
get on this wavelength
nothing's
so
off
young?
limits.
Okay.
Nothing's off limits. Just go ahead. Actually, at that age, I was at the height of my uh, renunciation, my mood of like give it all up and jump in the name of the Lord and fearless and a bit reckless and shave my head and renounce the world and was real hardcore extreme in my spiritual practices. So really that was there was some really intense fire that drove me to the feet of my spiritual master and allowed me to uh, surrender there at his feet and this begin my surrender process on this path. And gradually I've become more moderate and more sensible. I've grown older and learned that like really I need to uh, if I want to do this long term and I want to survive and like we say die to live, that means the ego must die, the mundane self must die,
Hmm.
die to live, but you know we need to keep our mind and body and self together to go on. So I've had to adjust myself and learn how to do this like for the long haul, long term, and not just burn out. And so that's like part of the yoga practice, knowing how to gauge yourself, how to pace yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, early on, I was just like, 19, I was done with this world, like done with the world as we know it and ready for something higher and better and more substantial and real. I
Hmm.
could understand, like, I was a little bit under the influence of the idea of Maya. Babylon is outside of ourselves. And it took me a little while to understand, no, like, I am under the influence of Maya
Mm.
illusion. And I need to like adjust myself and find the solution within myself and come forward and surrender myself and begin some spiritual cultivation and understanding. So yeah, it was just super fulfilling and wonderful to finally find like where to go, who to meet after a bit of an exhaustive search, meeting so many wonderful spiritual practitioners of the world. But yeah, early on it was you know, I gave my youth for this and I don't regret any of it. I did vow my life away, which, you know, looking back, and sometimes people ask me like for advice, should I do what you did? And I nowadays, with a little more sensibility and experience, I might say like, don't do what I did because, you know, it's a lifelong commitment, and if you can't maintain it, it's kind of devastating. It's shameful to like give up the vows that you've taken at, you know, given your word, made your deal at the feet of the Guru and the Lord. So it's some risk involved. If you see here, our temple just opened here. We have Radha, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu. And
Do you have to move? Are there going to be services going on?
no, but I do need to plug in to
Yeah, do whatever you're going to do.
power.
We'll take a quick intermission here.
So yeah, I'm grateful that at an early age I was able to really give myself in the height of my youth and with all my energy and a whole life ahead. I was able to really spend that time with my spiritual master, Srila Govinda Maharaj, and try to get the maximum from him while he was on the planet.
Yeah. I want to get into that because I always love hearing devotees and disciples speak about their guru and their master and what it was about them. So, would you be able to describe who this man was, what he did for you, what his energy was like? You know, how would you describe who your guru was?
Yes, he is someone who did not want to be a guru. He tried to avoid it. But he was a divine personality. We understand from the teachings of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who's my grandfather guru, who's my guru's guru, that generally there's three categories of guru. One, they come down, this is the first class section, they come down from the transcendental spiritual world. They're associates of Krishna, of the Lord. They come down into this world. They extend one foot down into this world while one foot is fixed in that transcendental abode of the Lord. And they come to rescue the fallen conditioned souls like us in this world and bring us with them back to the spiritual realm. They recruit us and save us. Second class, they have one foot here in this world and they're extending their other foot into that transcendental spiritual realm and taking souls from here to there. And third class, Srila Sridhar Maharaj says, 2 feet stuck in the mud of this world, but they have faith, they have conviction, and they want to go to that divine service plane and are bringing others like, come on, let's go together. So they're a guru in their own right, but on a different level, and still not liberated from this world, but they have some inspiration and some faith, and they go on, and they just like you would invite your friends, come with me, this wonderful place to go, you might like it.
Yeah.
So Srila Govinda Maharaj was recognized by his spiritual master as a first-class guru, an eternal associate of the Lord who descended to this world. And also his birth story is incredible. He was born in a Brahmin family who prayed to the deity of Lord Shiva that may your son come as our son, because they lost their first child. They were very pious, devoted devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna, and they decided, like, we don't want just anyone born in our family, our own child. We want yours, they told Shiva, and they worshipped him in the appropriate way, and then with the blessings of Shiva, our Gurudev appeared in their family. And even like the father heard the voice of Shiva saying, yes, my son has come. When the news came that Srila Govinda Maharaj was born, his father ran to that Shiva temple where they prayed and said, your son has come. And Shiva responded, yes, I know, my son has come, but go and remove all the black protective markings. It's called kajal. In the villages of India, you see it, the children with the black here, black strings, that's all for protection. He said, my child doesn't need these protection strategies. I'm his protector. Go and remove those markings. And the father hadn't seen the child yet, didn't realize that it had all been applied. So he went back and saw, yes, they already put all these markings, and informed them that Srila Govinda Maharaj would not need these markings, that he's fully protected by Shiva. So some supernatural appearance, and he had his own exalted capacity and his own, he had his own power. And his guru recognized that this is not an ordinary personality, and within 7 days knew this would be my successor. And they had a very wonderful divine interaction. And so he succeeded this position. And he tried his level best to avoid it, because he preferred being in the role of a servitor. So after some pressure, that Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, I will just destroy this ashram if you will not accept it. I'll dismantle it and give the deities and all the property, distribute it if you do not succeed. So Srila Govinda Maharaj had to accept. And so, it's one thing someone is will take the position of guru, but to see that, like, actually it's a position of prestige and so much name and fame come to you. Our Gurudev didn't want that.
There's something to that.
He'd rather like support somebody else in the background, but position came to him, and he surrendered. He told his spiritual master, okay, I'm your sacrificial goat. You do as you like with me. I can no longer hesitate and put this off. And so he succeeded that position. And, he lived by the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Be humble like the grass, be tolerant like the tree. give honor to others without desiring honor for yourself. And in this way, he lived like that 24/7 and ran the mission that he inherited in that mood. So that was his general modus operandi. He was always humble, always tolerant, always respecting everyone, and full of love and affection.
Mm.
So, and he was very much, open door policy. He was someone that didn't need any privacy. So his doors were open in his veranda where he lived, wherever he lived. He traveled sometimes, just tons of people around all the time, having interaction with him very closely. So that was our good fortune, that he was so accessible, sharing his food, sharing his everything, and just very merciful, very open-hearted, friendly, warm. Maybe the warmth that you are picking up on me is coming from him.
Hmm. Yeah, and that leads me to my question. Um, that's actually very well transitioned. Do you feel as though there's something that a disciple receives from the guru, almost like Shaktipat, something like you know, an initiation, yes, like a literal initiation, but almost like a as we said before, a torch to carry, like something that you get from your guru that you can spread to others as well.
Mhm. Definitely. Well, what we first receive at initiation is the holy name, the Maha Mantra, and the seed of that name is planted in our hearts. So we get the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's the Maha Mantra. And that seed we are watering through our service and our prayer and our surrender. That seed sprouts and grows into a creeper that reaches the feet of the Lord. Then we have a second initiation. We receive the Gayatri mantra, which takes us out of this world. It penetrates us. This mantra takes us out of all the levels and planes of material life and liberates the soul. And then it ends there. It no longer has a function after liberation. And so those two initiations are given to us. We receive those mantras. Then, through seva, through service, some spiritual transfer takes place, according to the necessity of service. Like service, Srila Maharaj, my grandfather Guru Maharaj says, service according to rendered as needed, like the intensity of necessity of that service reaps remuneration. So, like the Guru needs some water immediately. You can supply water that's needed. You can do so many things you think might be service, but they may not be real service or intensely needed within our own idea. So we try to follow some instruction, what would be according to the spiritual master's wishes, what was according to what spiritual master might envision for us. So we try to be instruments and be guided in such a way that is necessary, helpful, desirable.
Mm.
So yeah, we through good association, we try to always stay with positive good association, and with our chanting our mantras and being in service proper mood, into like the mood of humility, tolerance, giving honor. These things are conducive for that divine transfer that may take place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just one thing. It's not just only chanting the mantra, only being humble, tolerant, and respectful, and only serving according to necessity and instruction. But all these things are favorable and conducive for our spiritual development, which comes from grace from above, from our masters, from the Lord, from that higher realm.
Yeah. And it seems to me like it all revolves around service in one way or the other. Service and, yeah, I guess just service, actually. You know, it's like becoming an offering, like your life slowly becomes an unconditional offering, whether it is to the guru, the master, or maybe the guru and everyone. It just seems like selflessness rather than selfishness. And that's
Yeah,
where the spiritual path leads one.
exactly. And um, we want to be kind and generous to others. If we are getting help, we want to give help to others also. So who is interested to know about these higher things, we try to show by example and try to share what we've internalized and understood. So we want to be kind of servants to anyone who needs support. So,
Mm. There's
so
no other
we,
way, as we said before.
yeah, we're learning and we're sharing accordingly. And
Yeah.
some connection comes from that higher world when they see that we are extending grace to others, more grace will come to us. So we never run out. There's always a flow.
Yeah. Truly. That's the magic of it all. Is when you give it all up, you get it all back. Only when you give it all up, you can have it all. It's like
Yeah,
this. Yeah, you can't. It's what's the saying is we want what we can't have. So just don't want anything and you'll have it all. Yeah. It seems like from your description of your master, that's how he was. And many other descriptions of these high beings, these very realized beings, is that's how their embodiment is. That's how their just expression in the human form is. It's just an offering. They're here. Take it if you want it. If you don't want it, that's okay. That's okay too. Unconditionality. Go ahead, sorry.
and it's very rare that people want these things, actually,
Mm,
because the world is just mad for trying to find a drop of happiness on a good day. You know, just um, everyone is searching in Sanskrit, searching for rasa. Rasa. Have you ever heard that word? It's a
yeah.
very difficult word to translate,
I was gonna ask you, what
but
does that
it means
translate to exactly?
it's like the the thing within us that drives us. Everyone's working so hard so they can get some rasa.
Mm,
They can get some taste, they can get some pleasure, they can get some fulfillment. They're looking for we're all looking for the very same thing, that inner fulfillment. But you know, in this plane of existence, in the material world of exploitation, most people don't know where to look for rasa. They're trying to find it in the wrong place.
hmm
The alcoholic is trying to find it in the alcohol. The drug addict's trying to find it in the drugs. The hunter is trying to find it in his, killing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the driving need within that needs fulfillment.
Yeah. I like to call it a yearning. We all
Mm.
yearn for the Lord. Just
Yeah,
don't know where to find him.
yeah. Looking for love in all the wrong places.
That's what they say. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's a song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, who sings that? I'm trying to think of it now.
Is it the Carpenters or someone from the 70s?
Yeah.
Hearing it growing up.
I'll have to listen to it after this. But yeah, that's the case. We're all looking for love. We just don't
Yeah,
know where to find it. And the ironic thing is it's hidden in plain sight. It's always here.
yeah,
It's always
yeah.
here. You don't need anybody. You don't need anything. It's right here, right now.
It's our birthright deep within, just
Mm-hmm.
needs to be unearthed
Mm-hmm.
and discovered.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that someone would come across that uh, real, sincere hankering for reality and the truth and diving into it. So, we're a minority in this world, going in the complete opposite direction of the world.
Mm. Yes. But the world is in the opposite direction to God. It
Yeah,
may seem like the total opposite direction, like you're going against the grain. No, the world is going against the grain. We're
right.
going with the flow. That's the irony.
Yeah,
It seems like we're the crazy ones. It might feel like that sometimes, but nope, that's not the case. This is actually the most sane way to live in the human experience, devotion to
yeah,
God.
yep. Then when you find like we give up the world, everyone goes, as our Guru Varga said, like, don't expect a parade in your honor when you leave the world.
Mm.
You will get opposition, and
Oh
everyone will
yeah.
try to convince you otherwise. Like, oh, you're crazy.
Yep. Case in point is Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Yeah. Many other sages, many other beings of this nature chastised in their time, called crazy, literally killed, you
yeah,
know, charlatans, heretics. I think that's just part of the package. It's just kind of how it goes. You have to not care about that essentially, not care about what the world thinks. And with this suit of armor, as I said in the beginning, this realization you don't care what the world thinks. I don't care what anybody thinks. I know this is the truth because this is an internal truth. It's not like an outward truth. I'm trying to find some kind of verification from the outside, from, some sort of like what's the word I'm looking for? Confirmation from the outside to say I'm doing the right thing. This is all within. It's an internal
mm,
intuitive knowing that guides the way. People can say what they want, they can do what they want. And in the most extreme instances, they did what they want in the past. These sages, they gave their life for it. Think of all the disciples of Jesus. All of them died. All of them got killed.
mm,
That's a very powerful part or point of the Christianity story is that all of the disciples did not give up the word of Jesus. They all went to their death. I'm not saying that's going to happen to anybody, but I'm just saying the most drastic example of what we're talking about now is like you'll
yep,
give your life for this. You'll give your life for the truth. So, yeah,
exactly.
I feel it 100%.
Yeah,
And once you feel it, there's no going back, too. That's the thing.
yeah, yep. And like someone like myself, I was 19 when I was done, and that was not met with support by family, friends, society. Just and I just had to do what my heart was directing me to.
Yeah.
My heart's attraction was taking me forward, and having to reject all the unfavorable voices and elements in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the heart leads the way.
Yeah. Srila Sridhar Maharaj says progress means elimination and new acceptance. You
Mm,
eliminate what is not favorable for you in your supportive spiritual journey, and you accept what is favorable in
mm.
your spiritual journey.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a great elimination and a great simplification.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you understand that.
Yeah,
Like your lifestyle, your rituals, your habits, probably very, very simple, right?
that's right. Simple living, high thinking is the motto.
That's good. I like that.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to adopt that one.
Yeah.
Whose motto is that?
I've been hearing that since I come to the Krishna consciousness movement. I don't know who originally said it, but it's like a motto of ours. If you live simply, and we're very careful to deal with the material energy because uh, it's very constraining and can really just can be all consuming.
Tempting.
So we know material energy is powerful. We deal with it very simply and minimally, and then you can maximize your time, your energy, your life, your mind for the higher purpose.
Hmm.
And think about other things and pursue them. You have time and energy and mental space and your intelligence. Everything is free for
Yeah.
that higher pursuance when you're not bogged down in the material world.
Hmm. Wonderful. Yeah. I think that's a good note to wrap this up at, to be honest with you. Wow. Simple living, high thinking. That's what it was, right? Yeah. Okay.
If we keep it simple, then we'll have so much more of ourselves to give to that
Truly. Mm-hmm.
pursuit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And life really is simple. It really is. We overcomplicate it. We do it to ourselves. You know, we make it complicated.
It's true. We can't blame anyone but ourselves for
That's
our
it. Mm-hmm.
situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing too about this path is it sows the seeds of accountability, ultimate self accountability. It's all up to us. You save yourself, right?
It's true.
Even though there's
Yeah,
a lot of guidance and there's teachers. Truly, we got to revere the teachers, obviously. But I think the true purpose of a teacher is to lead you to you. The guru leads one to the sadguru within.
that's right. Because we cannot hear that we call it Cheta Guru, the guru in the heart. We cannot hear that message when we're so covered over with ignorance and lust, anger, greed, madness, all the enemies within
Hmm.
that have to be cleared and conquered, and then we can hear that guru within. So our guru without gives us that ability to hear the guru within.
I see, yeah. Hmm. And then you can hear the simple and subtle whispers of the Cheetah
Yeah.
Guru.
It can also be very powerful and clear,
Hmm.
loud and clear.
I find it powerful and subtle.
Mhm. Yeah. Generally, the guru within won't interfere with our free will.
Mm,
We
yeah,
want we want that inner guidance, then it will be made known to us.
Yeah, it just serves as like a poignant suggestion, right? It's just like a very powerful suggestion for us, and we can follow it if we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes not, we're dealing with something completely divinely independent, but
Mm.
who's our well-wisher?
Mm-hmm. Hallelujah. Hare Krishna.
All right.
I was thinking about that earlier. How Hallelujah and Hare Krishna, they sound very similar and they mean the same thing.
Mhm.
They have to have the same roots. There's not a coincidence.
There's so many parallels,
Yeah.
so much truth.
hmm I like to say the truth is one and the wise call it by many names, which is from the Rig Veda.
Mhm.
And I try to live by that and see that in all philosophies, all belief systems. And I try to bring that into the podcast. Try to illuminate that one truth that goes by many different flavors and many different names.
Yeah. Yeah, and they all have a beautiful contribution to make.
Yeah.
Something good is coming from all religious systems.
hmm
Are all meant to uplift humanity
I believe
and the
so.
animate
And sorry, what was the last part you said?
and all the animation within our environment. Even
hmm
the animals, the birds, they benefit.
hmm Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
devoted birds living in our temple. They come to sing with us in the morning. And all the preachers here in the ashram, they're all participating and getting some exposure to transcendental sound vibration, Mahaprashadam, to the scriptures being recited. This is all in sound vibration extending out. The
Mm.
deity being worshipped. This has a powerful effect on the environment.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And they have a powerful effect on you as well, I imagine.
Yeah,
Three little birds.
yeah. You'll have to
Yeah.
come visit us sometime, Gary.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Just gotta get on the plane.
Yeah,
But at least we can do this for now, you know? It's truly a miracle. I find being able to tap in with people like you across the world and have these kind of conversations. And I don't mean that lightly. I really honor having you on here and having this kind of conversation with you. And yeah, I wish you all the best. And I thank you so much for coming on here.
thank you, Gary, and it's my pleasure, and I'm at your service anytime. And really, it's been wonderful talking with you and hearing from you too. I can learn from you also. So
We're teaching
really,
each other.
yeah, mutual appreciation.
Well, yes, thank you.
So
Eternal gratitude. And I bow to you.
Krishna bless you and my pranams.
Hare Krishna and Hare Krishna to everybody listening as well. Goodbye.